Welcome back, listeners. I am excited to have you here today. I have a special guest, Reagan Andrew. She is a travel agent, but a very special one. She has some unique gifting that helps entrepreneurs travel. You are somebody, maybe a coach or a consultant, and you do leadership roles, or you do retreats, or you're thinking about doing retreats. You're going to want to stay tuned. She's going to have a lot to share with you about these topics. So, Reagan, welcome. You've been in this travel space for a long, long time, and you've recently transitioned to doing a more of a broad title of travel agent. You used to do a lot of group trips. You would go and do group guided trips, which are phenomenal for people who do not like to go by themselves. And so tell me a little bit about how you got started in the travel space.
Well, good morning, Dena. Thank you for having me this morning. I got started in the group travel space into the early 2000s when I worked for the city of Long Beach, Washington. We were a destination marketing organization, and we wanted to target or market to bus groups. And so I've actually been in the industry for quite some time. And pandemic, moved from Washington State to Missouri and started working with a couple of different travel companies and learned a lot of important takeaways from both of those experiences, and just really thought that there would be a way that I could do more or offer more of the knowledge that I had. And so on the day of the solar eclipse this year, April 9th, I decided to launch Adrift Tours and Travel. And I guess when you go big, you go solar. So I kind of have a little bit of a different spin. I want to help business owners in a couple of different ways, but one would be those team building opportunities, just a way to get together and go do a short overnight where, you're talking about business and how to strengthen those relationships and do some educational base, but then also build some relationships and camaraderie amongst your employees and really give them a sense of value between the employer and the employees. And wow, our employer must value us if they're willing to, take us out of town overnight to really do some fun activities. The other element is in the team building session may not be your owner who's doing the hosting, but maybe it's someone like a fitness instructor or yoga, or somebody that wants to do a wellness retreat and bring their client base to a different location where they just have that mindset of this is what we're working on while we're in this element, while we are working together on ourselves, but also, being with like-minded people. And then what I've been doing with some churches and a couple of YMCAs in the area is we did a fundraising trip. So say your business is looking to, raise some funds, or the church is looking to raise some funds, maybe take a trip to Branson for the weekend, and a portion of the trip's cost goes back into the coffers of the church or the nonprofit. I've worked with a couple of nonprofit leaders to potentially maybe put together a trip to Six Flags overnight or something like that. And then $100 of each person goes back into, you get $30 or 30 people at $100. There's $3,000 that you went and had a fun experience, but then you had money coming back into your nonprofit or to your business. So there's a couple of different ways in which we can work with businesses to either do team building, fundraising, or work with business owners that have a service or a product. Maybe you get a couple together. I have a Zumba yoga bungee fitness instructor friend who looking at putting a wellness retreat together. And maybe she's going to work with somebody that works with nutrition or doTERRA oils or, things of that nature, to where you bring the instructors together and you have the full gamut from your food all the way up to your fitness. And then, it's a full weekend of health and
That
wellness.
is awesome. And I myself have a retreat going on, very much so like that. We are doing it in St. Louis though. So we are not traveling for it, but I absolutely feel like we need that as entrepreneurs. We put ourselves on the back burner a lot and, kind of take our self-care and say, you know what, I really need to focus on this goal right now. So let me put my self-care back there and we'll think about that later. That is a huge problem for us as entrepreneurs, and it usually leads to burnout. And so I love that you're helping entrepreneurs in this way to get them in those retreats and help them bring other people together. Even non-entrepreneurs, we all need self-care, right? We need to fill our gas tank first in order to be able to help the people that we help. And so I really love that that is what you're doing. Now, I know that there are several other travel agents out there. I know that there's a lot of people that not probably as many that do like groups and that kind of stuff. What sets you apart from your competition? How are you different from other travel agents?
Well, first of all, I don't look at it as competition. I look at it as collaboration or partnerships, because most travel agents, travel advisors, even group tour operators like myself, we have a specialty, we have a niche. We have those loyal travelers that, aren't going to travel with anybody else. And so I guess what sets me apart, a couple different things. One, on the group side, is if I travel with you, I like to dress in costume. So you never know what persona you're going to get when you get on the bus. But I also like to make sure that it's very experiential. There's, the red carpet welcome. There's little extras that you're always going to get that you don't know are intended. So we are getting ready to do a Witches on the Water in Grafton overnight trip. And they get their bus transportation over to Grafton. They get overnight at the Holiday Inn. There's a breakfast. And then they have the ticket for the actual event. But there's a couple other things that we're adding into it that I know no one else will add. It's just those cherry on the sundae things, that the experiences, or the little goodie bags, or whatever we do. And I don't know a lot of tour leaders or travel people that they may give a trip away to, as an incentive, but the fundraising element for organizations to be able to raise money, I think that's huge. And I don't hear a lot of travel agents in this area
Yeah, I
doing
love that.
that. And I'm also focused on right now. I'm also focused right now on states like California Dreamin' next September is flying to San Francisco. We will visit 5 national parks. There's going to be a sweets element to it. I have a friend who does chocolate talks, and I'm looking at incorporating some food elements into that trip. And then once we've hit all 5 of the national parks, then we fly out of San Diego. So experiences you're not going to get with other
That's
places
wonderful.
and
Yeah.
other organizations.
I
I
like
think
that you add in the bonus items, which increases your value. As a guide, as a somebody who's been there, you've done the experiences, you've traveled, you've got all these tips and tools to help bonus up and add more value to the experience that your clients get, which is so amazing. So tell me a little bit more about like who are we've talked a little bit about like the leadership role and those that are looking for maybe like a retreat style. Are there other clients that you really help to address challenges with and or for?
I was working with a couple of individuals I don't want to name one particular business, but in
Okay.
finance planning. Maybe you have business incentive travel. So maybe you are trying to meet your quota of this amount of this amount of money and you need your clients to purchase, hey, do you know if you can spend this much? I have these tickets to go to, and maybe do some incentive business travel for your higher end clients. Or bank travel used to be very, very popular, and now there's only a small handful of banking institutions that offer it. And I would love to utilize my services through that, but it's bank incentive travel, to where the banks are trying to get their customers or new customers to come to bank with them. What are all those add-ons, or why would I come be a banking customer for you when I can do, go be at XYZ? Well, we offer the, silver sneaker program, where you can be part of our, travel club if you have so much in your bank account. And so almost like, I don't want to use the word elite, but a bonus basically for being a customer that has, so much in their, bank, or so much in their financial coffers.
That's cool. I had no idea that they even were offering that. I do see a lot of bankers will say, like, bring on a friend and get $100, or there's like a lot of that happening at the bank, but a travel trip,
Right.
I think is, to me, that's more incentive than the money. Because I love to travel, but that totally speaks my language. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
So when you
Right.
are helping clients, you
Yeah.
really focus heavily on planning, travel planning, tips, tools, things to know for maybe like the solo traveler, and you are single yourself, so you've traveled a lot as a single woman, right? And so sometimes that creates fear for people who have always traveled with a partner or with somebody. But for you, you have a lot of tools and tips because you've done a lot of this travel yourself. So share a little bit about, like, as a solo traveler, what are some of the things that you must know?
Well, that's what I like about the group tour element, is you can be a solo traveler. And I always use the Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Jones reference. Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Jones, they're recently divorced, or they are recently widowed, and they still want to travel. They enjoy it, but they don't necessarily want to do it on their own. So if they can go in a group setting, even though they're alone, I will guarantee you, as I sit and breathe here, that one, you will meet someone else. And two, I almost guarantee you will meet, that Mrs. Jones will meet Mrs. Smith, or vice versa. And by the end of the trip, they're going, so where do you want to go next? And they now have a travel companion that they wouldn't have had if they wouldn't have gone. And, we gave them that safe opportunity. I have, as a single person, I love to car camp. So I will go somewhere and travel by myself. You have to really enjoy your own company, and you have to really want to go visit those places. But my mindset is, if you don't, then you'll regret not going. And there's places that you can go and go, look, I'm traveling alone. What are the safest 5 places that I absolutely have to see while I'm here? Or, don't be afraid to make nice with that Lyft or Uber driver, to say, hey, I'm going to be here for a couple of days. Do you have a card to where I'll take real good care of
Yeah.
you?
Oh, yeah.
Don't be afraid to make nice, to make new friends. And, if you've been around people, you'll get the vibe of, okay, they're good
Oh,
people.
yeah.
I can talk to them. Always be aware of your surroundings. But at the same time, that would be, even if I'm traveling with a companion, like, there's just times to be really, really smart. And then there's times to be like, I'm with my person who's going to protect me. And, walking through downtown New York,
Yeah.
I squirrel. I want to look at everything. And so I basically just told the person I was with, you need to hold my hand. You know the area. If I don't need to stop, don't let me stop. But if I can stop for a second and look around, like, just, you're going to have to direct me. So, and they can always call their visitor center or CVB if they want a convention and visitors center or bureau. If they want information ahead of time, those people are more than happy to give you information and help keep you safe in their
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, that is wonderful that you had all those experiences and, ability to share and calm the solo traveler, because I really do feel that we all need to have experiences where we're outside of our comfort zone, but yet we're creating this amazing experience for ourselves, this memory that we get to take with us wherever we go, right? And it's a lot of us rely on those experiences to help us feel connected, and whether it's meeting new people or having that experience of seeing something we've never saw before. We travel a lot, me and my family, and so we reminisce. Oh, remember the time that we went here and we saw this and we met these people, and so it's a wonderful way to get out of your comfort zone and experience something different. And I feel like that opens up a lot of journey and exploration and just a lot of new types of experiences that you wouldn't have sitting at home on the couch watching TV about that experience. Like, okay, I'm going to look at Yellowstone, or I'm going to watch the Yellowstone series. No, I'm going to go to Yellowstone. Like, this is so much better to experience it, which is so cool. My
Right.
kids were homeschooled, and where they'd be learning about something in school and like, let's go travel there and you can see it for yourself, and that was such a fun experience for them to see it and to experience all the smells, the sights, the history, which was absolutely phenomenal. And they still talk about it to this day,
Yes.
it's very, very cool. Tell me how.
And that's what I think. And I think that's why I like the
Yeah.
costume element, because I went to Mayflower and Plymouth Rock with a group. And when I got on the bus that day, I was Pilgrim Patty. And that was my persona. And most of them at first with the bonnet and no glasses, no makeup, they were like, Reagan? And I'm like, yeah. I, coming from the elementary education background, I want them to see it and touch it and taste it and smell it. And if you're going to go to the beach, you need to fly a kite. You need to build a sandcastle. You need to have s'mores. If you're going to go to the Lucy Desi Museum and see I Love Lucy, who better than to dress up as Lucille Ball and get on the bus that morning? I really want them to go away with a wow, oh my gosh, and talk about it experience, because you can buy things, but I would much rather buy experiences that I look back on. I get a Christmas ornament everywhere I go, because when I set up my tree, and this year it was up until March, because it made me feel good. I could walk around my Christmas tree, which goes right behind me, and just go, I remember when I went to Wyoming and I had that bison eat out of my hand, that, treat. Or I remember, building a sandcastle or whatever I did when I was in Panama City Beach, Florida. Just those little things. I want to have memories, not things.
I love that. That is awesome. So you have been, you not only help the solo traveler, you also help veterans, correct?
We do. We offer some group trips to veterans. We have a Memphis Red, White, and Blues trip coming up in October. 4 days, 3 nights, and it's going to be a great time. I also have another trip coming up next, actually September, that is going to New Orleans, and we are going to the National World War II Museum and doing a couple of other military points of interest while we're in New Orleans. So yes, we do work with veterans. We offer a discount to those veterans that are wanting to travel. So, and then of course, if there's veterans that want to travel solo, or husband and wife, and they want to do an anniversary trip, or whatever, we can put something like that together on the custom side.
Very nice.
Yes, family was Army, so I definitely want to support
Absolutely.
veterans.
Yep. My dad was Army too. And you also serve, and we thank you for
Yay.
your service, veterans, because we wouldn't be here without you. So we appreciate you. And you also help animal lovers too. So those that travel with pets
Absolutely.
and animals, I know that has become very, very popular.
Yeah, yes, on the travel agent side, we are working hard to find those places that are pet friendly so that you can bring your four-legged child with you, because until recently, dog mom here, so I did a lot of car camping because I always wanted the dogs to be able to go with me. So this way we're allowed to take human children with us, so why aren't we allowed to take our four-legged children with us, so yes, I'm definitely looking for not only animal friendly places, but I'm looking for events that we can take
Oh,
groups of people to. Like, I know in Long Beach, Washington, where I moved from, every year they have a weekend called the
oh,
Doggy Olympic Games, the dog. And it's basically everybody brings their dogs to the beach and they have different Olympic games. And it's a very
fun.
exciting. So I just would like to find places like that, maybe around the United States. Or, like maybe St. Louis has gone to the dogs and you have Corgi Day in downtown, or take your specific breed to different things. So, sky's the limit on my outside the box creativity, or, any client's creativity. If it's weird or quirky, I want to do
Yeah,
it. So,
that's
I'm willing
awesome.
to help.
So you've transitioned to broadening your ability to help more people because you've created, so you went from group only travel
Yeah.
to now pretty much full service of helping your clients, whoever that may be, get their travel wherever they desire to go, whether alone, as a veteran, in a group, in an experience, in a location, in a retreat, or in a leadership role. So what are you leveraging in order to find your clients? So, like, I know that you do some networking, and then what are the other things that you're doing? Sleep?
Sleep. I'm I'm not sleep. Yes. So I am going to a lot of networking events on the B2B chamber organizations. Chambers are such a wonderful asset to communities. And then really just been going back through my channel of clients with the churches, the independent living communities, senior activity centers, YMCAs, places like that. But slowly but surely, as a one woman team ish right now, trying to get that website up and off the ground. I'm working on 2025 itineraries right now, so I just don't want to do a half act job, and so just trying to get the website up and going. Our social media, the day that we launched our Facebook page, obviously did so well that we actually had to shut it down for a minute because it was growing the likes. And yeah, it was
That is awesome.
intense. We had a little technical difficulties, which I guess is good, but yeah. So really just leveraging sleep and that self-care. But I was able to partner with a massage instructor who is having me come once a week to be the guinea pig for her
Nice.
students. So that was kind of a nice business to business. I'm helping her with some travel stuff, and she's utilizing me for her students to be able to practice and
Oh,
and
that's
get better
amazing.
at. So
That's a wonderful trade. Like, I love self-care. Yeah, that is so awesome.
I mean, if you can leverage it with your business, colleagues, what a good way to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I'm a
yeah.
firm
Yeah.
believer in community coming together and helping community. So we at Upleveled Strategies, we do a lot of partnerships and collaborations with other business owners to get them more leads, to help them get their business out there. We do this podcast, we have chat automations, which in their sleep, they can gather leads and get up to some people get about 50 leads extra a month just by utilizing some of our chat automations and other features that we offer. What kind of software do you use to keep all your clients together?
Well, that's a very good question because as a brand new business owner, those are things that you don't know and you don't know what to ask. So I have a friend who is kind of getting me set up on the back end of that. We're utilizing HubSpot and a couple other things, but that's kind of one of the reasons I was attracted to a partnership with you guys was trying to up level or redefine or define in general what's going to best
Yeah.
help me because you don't know what you don't know. And there's a point where like meltdown happens when it's good to be busy, but busy doesn't mean productive. And so while I am extremely busy, I'm not sure how productive that is. And so trying to figure out what is going to be the best tools for me, I'm still kind of in that learning curve. So that's where I'm willing to, take advice from other colleagues. Hey, if you've had more experiences starting up, I'm working with score.org for score mentors, and that's been great. But again, what you don't know, ignorance isn't always bliss. So
I hear you. I hear you.
no, it
Yeah,
can
I've
bite
been
you.
in your shoes and had those pain points. I have a health and wellness business that I run. I have 3 businesses that I run, and the health and wellness one, I manage about 3,000 people in that business, and that became very cumbersome as it grew. And I wish I would have had these tools in place prior
Mhm.
to it getting that big, because stopping to learn the tools is a little bit difficult as you're doing and doing and doing,
Oh,
but the cool thing is now that I have the tools in place, I had to kind of transition a little bit,
absolutely.
take a step back,
Absolutely.
learn a new tool. I used to use HubSpot and then I outgrew it, so I needed to upgrade my system, and I needed tools in it that it didn't do, so I went ahead and had to upgrade that. And so now that I have these tools in place and I have a lot of the automations, there's the busy work that I used to have to do myself, I don't have to do anymore. And so that's been a game changer in business. So I love that you are recognizing these things super early and making sure that you're addressing them, because that makes the biggest difference as you move forward. You want to be able to, as an entrepreneur, we want to be able to work on our business, not so much in the business. And that's the key difference that I noticed with having my system in place is I can now work on my business and do the things that I like to do. And then I have all my automations running in the background. So people think I'm busy, but it's my automations that are running. It's the tools and automations and systems that I've set up and put in place that mimic the workflow that I used to do in person manually. I don't have to do that anymore, which is a game changer and frees up your time so you don't feel so busy. Sometimes you're right, that busy work can create a lot of issue.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, can I sleep? Can I afford to sleep? you know,
Yes.
yes, you need your sleep. And the nice thing is those run
Right.
in your
Right.
sleep. They
Yeah.
run back.
Yes. Well,
Yeah. So that's amazing recognizing.
yes. Yeah. And I'm excited. I love the business. I don't want to get burnt out, but at the same time it's like I'm the only person. I am solo. So I own a home. So you've got I spent all day yesterday in my yard because
Mhm.
I haven't mowed. I haven't done any flower bed weeding or cleaning up. And so, yeah, every waking hour and even hours I don't want to be awake has been spent sitting in
Yeah.
this spot right here and going, oh my gosh, I don't have a credit card authorization form. Oh, I knew I needed one, but
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't buy a travel company. I started a travel company. So I'm living in the house while I'm building
Yeah.
it, and it definitely can be a challenge. But I birthed this baby and it's mine, and I'm going to love it and
Yeah,
nurture
it's
it and watch
amazing.
it grow.
And you will, and it'll be fabulous. And the wonderful thing is all the learnings that you have and take along the road are experiences that are very similar to travel experiences. They make you who you are, which is wonderful and awesome. So if somebody would like to contact you to book travel or a retreat or ask you questions, how would they get a hold of you?
You can call me directly, 503-791-7437, my cell phone. Or you can email me right now at adrifttours@gmail.com. And that's Adrift Tours with 2 T's, so not to be confused. Adrifttours@gmail.com. And or
Okay.
find me on Facebook. So Adrift Tours and Travel on our Facebook page, and then you can send us a message that way. Or honestly, I like to just be very open and transparent. And so, please just feel free to leave me a message or reach out, and we'll get back to you and get you going on
Wonderful.
what
And
you
that
want to
is your
do.
website too, adrifttoursandtravel.com, right?
Yes, it will be. Yes. And I'm hoping to have that launched by the end of the month. I'm working on some of the e-commerce tweaks on the
Wonderful.
back
All
end.
right. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on Upleveled Strategies Podcast. We appreciate you and all your tools and tips for travel and connecting with people and experiencing the wonderful bliss of adventure. We appreciate you being here. So thank you so much, listeners. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, share this podcast with a friend. We need you to help get the word out about self-care and entrepreneurship and travel. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next episode.